Alright, this is Vision Basic for the Commodore 64, developed by Dennis Osborn. And I watched his video on YouTube and I was very impressed with the amount of work that he did for this program, and just one person doing it. I thought it was worth taking a look, purchasing the program and seeing what it can do. And so far I can say this is what I purchased. On his website you had the option to purchase a box copy of Vision Basic, and you also had the option of purchasing like a t-shirt or something for an extra $30. I didn't see the point of the t-shirt other than to just kind of throw some more money towards the developer, but which he probably deserves for look at all the work that he did on this. And I do appreciate having a nice manual that I can read through when I need to figure out how to do something. So this Vision Basic is a compiled BASIC from my understanding, and it requires an REU to run, or an REU or super CPU, or emulation of some sort. You can use your 1541 Ultimate 2 Plus, or you can use a Ultimate 64 if you have something like that, or you can just use Vice and enable the REU settings to write your programs. So anyway, this is the Vision Basic unboxing, and now let's take a look at the program and see how easy it is to write quick basic programs with this software tool. Vision Basic came with its own little USB drive with the software on it, so you don't have to use a floppy disk if you don't want to. And I have inserted that into my Ultimate 64. But before you can use it, Vision Basic requires an REU. And if you don't have the REU, when you go to run Vision Basic, you will receive an error. Insufficient RAM. So you might say, well, how do I fix that? Well, it's fairly simple. On the Ultimate 64, you hit the button on the side, Shift F1, go into your C64 and cartridge settings, and then under RAM expansion unit, just enable it. That's all I did. So then you hit run, stop, save your change, wash, rinse, and repeat. It takes a few seconds for this software to load up, so I will fast forward this part a little bit. Alright, when you first start up Vision Basic, you come up with this copyright agreement, just like you do with modern software, that you must agree to if you want to use it. And you just kind of hit any key. I used, let's see, oh no, you have to hit down arrow to get to the next page. And you have to accept the agreement. So you have to hit A. And then it has you digitally sign your name before you can even start the application. And once you do that, you're brought to this screen. Now, Vision Basic is essentially a compiled version of BASIC. It's really handy, and it runs in the extended memory if you have to use an REU expansion device or have that enabled for your compatibility for this to run, which is great because that way you're not limited to the mere 32K that BASIC usually leaves you with, or if it's even that much. When you first come in though, the color scheme is different than the normal Commodore 64. If you want to change that, you just go in and type File and hit Enter, and you get this nifty little menu. The menu here kind of shows you how it's divided into tabs. You have your memory, your banks. So this is how your memory is laid out for your program. These are kind of more of advanced topics I'm not going to get too much into. You have the banks, so if you need to, most of the time your program will run in that first bank, bank 0, unless it's kind of a big program or you have some special need. You can give your program your details, your description, and then over on the final screen is the settings, and then here you can change the border colors, So you hit the space bar to change your color. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but we can go with something like, yeah, maybe error is yellow. Let's see how that looks. And then there's my color scheme. It says, "Greetings, Great Defender." Now, if you do a DIR, that's kind of like a low dollar sign. So there are some differences between this and normal BASIC. This is a compiled version of BASIC. The settings that we just made are in that settings.dat file that's listed there on the screen. If you wanted to get rid of that, or if you didn't like the name that you put in, all you have to do is delete that file off of there. You can scratch it. And you can do that with the Desc command. So you can just kind of go in Desc, quote, scratch, and then put in the file name. So then it scratches it. That's just for example. I'll probably put that back in between segments here, but I just wanted to show you that. All right, let's say you wanted to do something simple, a quick little program, like a for loop, or first thing I'm gonna do is clear the screen, and then we'll do like a for I equal 1 to 10, print I semicolon next. Something simple like that. Yep, just clears the screen, puts the letters up there. Well, one of the things with Vision Basic, because it's compiled, and part of that also that they wrote in support for assembly language, you can actually rewrite this if you wanted to in assembly language. We could do a new, which puts us in a new program, and then another feature of Vision is you can type old to restore it back, as long as you don't type a new line number over again. I just wanted to point that out. So you go new. But say we wanted to go instead, we wanted to do some assembly. What you can do is you can use a bracket, and then you can do your commands. LDA, LDX, LDX number 0, LDA number 0, STA 400. Let's just start with that. We won't use X. And you maybe do a key press right after that just to see, just so it doesn't clear the screen. Maybe we do clear the screen right before that. So you can see that ran. But there's also an assembly mode of entering. If you type ASSEM, and if we type 10 to delete it, and 20 to delete it. But if we wanted to just kind of start new here and go, what I want to do, let's start with 50. LDX number 0, LDA number 0, STA 400, comma, X, increment X, branch if not equal to 0. We need to set up a label. So I'm going to set up a label. I'm going to call it loop or a tag. Vision Basic calls them tags. Now let's do list. Now notice automatically Vision Basic puts brackets around your instructions. But I'm going to put a tag right here at 65. Tag colon, I think it's colon. And I think that'll work. So this should loop it. 90 should loop up to 65, and it should loop that. Okay, so I got the tag parameter incorrect. Oh, tag loop colon. That's the parameter. There we go. And then if you wanted to change that so that it would change those characters, so it's not just an @ sign. Quick trick, what you can do is right after 65, if we were to maybe 67, transfer the accumulator, transfer the X register to the, can you do that? Hold on. Yeah, I think that's a valid command. Transfer the X register to the accumulator. But we're not in basic mode, so you have to have the brackets. Yeah, there you go. And then you can add your key press so it doesn't clear off what you did. So that would be a quick way just to display some information. You'll notice that I started using the line numbers in between 60 and 70. I'm starting to get low. Well, Vision Basic has a renumbering functionality, so you can type renum. You can say from 5 to 100, oops, I need a minus sign, comma, where you want to start. I can say start at 100 and increment it by 10. You know, are you sure? Yes. And so then it'll renumber it for you. So that's a nice little nifty feature of Vision Basic. Let me clear the screen by hitting Shift Clear Home. Earlier I had a tag set up where you could just loop it back up to the tag. Well, instead of using a tag, we could get rid of that tag if you want. It's not as clean a solution, but instead of using the tag, you can just go directly branch if not equal to, you could say, to line 30. And Vision Basic will compile that and it'll run just the same. I just wanted to show that little feature of a tag versus a line number. The problem could arise though. Let's see if the renumbering works. So you go renum 5 to 40. And we'll start it at 100 and go by 10. Oops, I need a comma there. See, it didn't. Vision Basic didn't rename it or didn't change the number, so we would have to go back and fix that, and that could cause a problem for you down the road. But that's why it's probably cleaner to use tags, so that something as simple as renumbering wouldn't mess up your program. Now, Vision Basic has a number of nice features, including graphics and sounds and all that stuff. I don't know how much I'm going to get into, but I just wanted to show a few of the things just to get started. There is a command to run, so you can't, in Vision Basic, you can't just type a command like this and have it do it. It says that's a program mode only, but what you can do is you can do an exec and then have a command, and it will compile it. You saw it compile. And then there's a shortcut for exec, which is the greater than sign, and then type a command. You know, something like that. You could kind of go greater than I equal 3. You know, you could do something like I equal I times 10, print I. You know, just, I don't know, just to show that there is that functionality to have it do a quick run of something in the immediate mode. And I was showing you have the command to do list. There's a few other commands that Vision Basic can do. There's one called lister, and that will clear the screen, and then you can use your arrow keys up and down if the program is long, and enter spacebar to page down, and enter to get out of it. Let's do a dir and look at some of the programs on here. One of the nice programs that the really nice program that he put on here is called Herald. Everything under mazes is something I put on there, and we'll get to those. But load Herald. I just wanted to load this program really quick. We'll replace the one that's in memory. just to show how the lister thing works. And I'll fast forward because this program takes a while to load. Alright, the program is loaded, so let's use lister. Notice how it clears the screen, shows what's up there. I'm going to use down arrow to scroll down a little bit. If you hit the space bar, it sort of pages down. I think it does 12 lines at a time. And if you hit enter, it exits you out. You can just type list if you want to kind of list through it. You can also do list, let's say 5,000, and then a minus sign, just like you can in regular BASIC. You can use run stop to break. You can also, when you do list, just as you can in Commodore BASIC, hit the control key to slow down the listing. You can let it go, hold the control to slow it down. I'm not going to run this program right now. Dennis Osborn actually did a really neat demonstration of that program on his channel. I'm going to do new, and what I wanted to do was I wanted to demonstrate the command to read the joystick port and how easy it can be done in Vision Basic. So what you do is a really simple program would just be to go 10 J is equal to joy. The command is joy, and then the joystick port 2. So it's either going to be 0 or 1 or 2 for joystick ports, 1 or 2 on the computer. And then I was going to say 20 print J 30 go to 10 and run that. I do have a joystick plugged in, and I'll hit up, down, right, left. You kind of see if I can do diagonals. If I push the button, nothing happens. And that's because there is another command that he uses in conjunction with the joy command. And then also, I don't have a way of breaking out of this. So I hit run, stop, restore to break it, and then I hit list. So instead of joy, if you do button 2, and then do run, when I push the button, it's either a 0 or a 1, and then nothing else on the movement on the joystick does anything. So I just wanted to demonstrate that really quick, and then control break, list. So really quickly how to scan the joystick port, and then building upon that, Dennis has provided a really nice program which I typed in, and it's on page 139 in his manual, and I called it Joy page 139. We'll replace the one I just wrote. And no, Vision crashed on me. Hold on. Okay, Vision crashed right there. All right, so that's really odd. I don't really have a lot of problems with Vision crashing on me very often, but we'll see. I've only been using it for a day, so we'll see. So I'm going to load Joy page 139. And let's do lister. Oops, shift clear home. That's the program, and let's run it. What this does is it allows you to move a little cursor around the screen, and then when you push the button, you can change the character that's displayed. And this is a really neat little program, and I think if you hit Q, yeah, it comes out of the program. What it's doing here is on line 130, it's saying it's line 120, it's reading the joystick port 2 and the button. A is joystick 2, B is the button 2. And then it's setting a variable L equal to A and 4, and then divided by 4. And so in Vision Basic, it does mathematical operations from left to right. So first it will do A and 4, then it will get that result and divide by 4. And essentially that basically will mean you'll get a 0 or a 1. And it does the same thing for right, because right, normally if you push right, it's going to be 8. So by ANDing it with 8 and then dividing it by 8, it turns it into a 0 or a 1. It does the same thing with up and down. And then it has a little bounds check on line 180. If x is less than 0, make it 39. If x is greater than 39, make it 0. So it just kind of loops it back from top to bottom, left to right. And I didn't demonstrate that, but if you go all the way to the top, it loops you around on the edges. And so, you know, that was a quick way for him to show us how to use the buttons and the polling system. He also has a sample program on page 140 which polls the paddles, which I don't have a set of paddles handy in front of me, so I didn't type that in, but I do use the joystick much more often. All right, one of the features I forgot to demonstrate, which I think is a neat little feature. All right, so if you use the command to add a description, say we wanted to add some comments at line 100. See what it does? It creates a three little REM commands for you, and it's fairly quick and easy. Now you got to be careful, because when it goes to line 100, if you were to hit enter, that would have deleted line 100. So let's say we want to put some more comments between 170 and 180. Boom, boom, boom. And now let's before we run it, let's take a look at those comments. There we are, comments, more comments, and finally check out, make sure it still works. And finally, if you switch to assembler mode and you do a description, let's just say 500, comma, even more. Instead of rem statements, it puts semicolons. I just wanted to point that out. Both are valid comments, and you can switch back to basic mode by doing that. All right, on Dennis's video on Vision Basic, let's see, I wanted to do the program that he did in his video, and I typed that in real quick. What he did was he did a program. We'll take a variable like this, where 10 is equal, var is equal to 234, and he wanted to add 1,000 to it. So basically var is equal to var plus 1,000, but instead of doing it in basic, he wanted to do it in assembly language. And so what he did, here's the program that he concocted. So you clear the carry, load the variable, the basic variable, add 232, and then store the variable. And you'll notice I didn't put an in bracket there. That's because Vision Basic's a little bit friendly. It lets it, forgiving, I should say. It lets you get away with that. Now we're going to do load variable plus 1. You might think, what is plus 1? Well, plus 1 is the high byte of the variable. So we're going to add 3 to that. And then, oops, I have a typo up here. Okay, hold on. Get that, sta var. And sta var plus 1. And then 40, print the variable out. Let's see if that works. So if this works, it should print out 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, I got an error. Maybe you need the close paren. Oops. Pretty sure I was just saying that you don't need that, but okay. So let's clear the screen, list it, and then we can go up here and we could change this value. We can make this 5280. How many feet are in a mile? Add 1,000, 6280. We could add, we can make this 15,000. And it's out 16,000. Now, you might look at it and go, how does this work in assembly language? How does adding 232 to the lower byte and then adding 3 to the upper byte work? And I'll explain it really quickly. If you add 3 to the upper byte, that's the equivalent of saying 3 times 256. And then if you take the remainder of 1,000 minus 256, you get 232. I don't know if the math adds up right there, but essentially that'll get you to within a byte. Say you wrote in this program. This kind of leads me to a quick way. How do you save it? It's really easy in Vision Basic. You just type save, quote, and then your program name. I'm going to call this one video or something like YouTube video, and then hit enter. Now when we look on the disk, if I do a dir, that will be down at the bottom, I believe. YT video right there. But say you made a mistake and you wanted to go variable equal, I don't know, it doesn't matter, 578. And you wanted that to be what's on your disk. Well, all you have to do is, as long as you give it the same name, YT video, Vision Basic will ask, do you want to replace it? And you just hit the Y. And now, takes a minute, and now your program has been rewritten onto the disk. Now I mentioned earlier that in Vision Basic it has a lot of nice graphical features, and I'm not going to get into too many of them, but Dennis did provide a nice little program on page 183, and I typed it in and I saved it. So let's load that up. Called it lines, page 183. It's only 8 lines of code. We're going to do replace. And so that should replace the one we had in memory. And you can see it's only 8 lines of code, and this just generates random lines on the screen. Let's run it. And this is one he demonstrated on, I think this was what was running in the background at the beginning of his video. And it kind of just shows you also how fast Vision Basic is when it runs, or at least how optimized the graphics routines seem to be. And on this one, it ends when you hit enter. So I'm going to hit enter. And you see it clears the screen and puts you back to this. Then the last thing that I saved is page 214 in the manual. And on page 214, he did something that was a little more complex than what I've shown so far. It's an interrupt routine program. Let's load that one in. And what this one does is it splits the screen. I'm going to hit replace. It splits the screen between the top and bottom and makes them different colors. Oh, did I? Oh yeah, so it's on page 214, then it extends to 215. I thought it was a shorter program, like what? So I had typed this in, I definitely saved it. And when you run it, you can see the top part of the screen is green and the bottom part is kind of the blue color. Now this doesn't let you do much. Let's see, hold on. When you hit enter, it ends. So let's run it again. It's interesting, I could, oh, okay. Lets you type stuff. As soon as you hit enter though, it ends, okay. But anyway, that one I can't even begin to explain. I wouldn't be able to begin to explain how that one works. This uses assembly language. You can see inline assembly as it's displayed there. I'm gonna hit Shift Clear. Load Herald back because I forgot to show something. One of the things I forgot to mention about in Vision Basic that you can do. It's a nice feature. If you have a large program and you're looking for something, you can do a find command. You can say find, and let's look for all the words FOR. And that shows you everywhere where FOR, with the line numbers that's on. Let's say you wanted to look up like frequency, FREQ. You go find, and those are your little frequency, places where that was used. So I thought that is a nice feature that you don't have in Commodore Basic. And then the last thing I wanted to show, I hope it works because I haven't tried this yet, is if you have a program, I'm trying to think, should I use lines or the joystick one? Let's do the Joy one. Replace. So this program, say we wanted to have this run standalone. So Vision Basic has a compile function, and you can use that by typing COMP and then your file name. So let's see, before we save it, I want to give it the same file name as the original. So let's try COMP Joy page 139, and let's just see if it creates a .prg or a .exe. Oh no, we ran out of disk. Let's create a D64 image. Let's mount that one and now try the compile. Okay. Now we're gonna go from the Ultimate 64. Should we just try running it? Oh, it actually worked. Okay, let's try this again, except let's do not that one. Oh, I forgot we're not in Vision yet. Oh, that's all it says is Vision Basic. I don't know. Oh, okay. I don't know how that works, but it works. All right, I wanted to talk about the packaging of Vision Basic. And I know I've only just begun to scratch the surface of this product, but what you do receive in the package is the known issues. He kind of has them listed here, and he has some little tips that he has in the first page, and then it comes with a nice diskette and the spread editor. I didn't even cover the sprite editor, and I just barely scratched the surface, like I said, of Vision Basic. But I wanted to go in, and I just wanted to say how beautiful it is, and it's a really nice packaging and everything. I discussed that at the beginning of the video. But the manual itself, like I said, it's about 1 inch or so thick. My only complaint with the manual is that out of everything, it does have a table of contents at the beginning, but if I was going to complain about anything, is that it doesn't have like a index at the end with all the commands listed alphabetically. So I can quickly look up a command or a function and go to that page number. And then my only small minor complaint that I have in addition to that is some of the commands, they have examples on them, but they're like, I want to see more examples. You know, you can never have enough examples and samples so that you can learn how to do things multiple ways. If there's a command and you can do something 2 different ways, I'd like to see an example listed of both ways. And in some cases they have 3 different ways or whatever, like renumbering right here has 2 or 3 different ways that you can do it. But those are kind of minor, and you can kind of figure a lot of that out just by going in and experimenting with things. I assume that the developer, Dennis Osborn, I assume he's going to be maintaining this product and probably coming out sooner or later with program fixes and maybe additional features and those sorts of things. I really like the program because you can do things a lot faster than you can in regular Commodore Basic. Like, try writing a program that draws random lines, period, in Commodore Basic, and let alone having it do it as fast and as efficient as Vision Basic does it in like 8 lines of code that I demonstrated earlier. So, and you can there's so much that you can do with this program. He's put a lot of effort into trying to think of everything. And in some ways that can get you into trouble because you want to actually get your product out. But I think he did a really good job of reining that in and getting a decent product out. I think it probably, if everything can't be explained in something like this, then maybe a wiki page. I don't know if there is one for this product, like a wiki page or a compendium or something like that, like a reference guide that can go into more detail. Maybe even having this manual, having it updated online. He does have a website, visionbasic.net, and I purchased this software for, I think it was $69. There's a few options of additional add-ons that you can do when you buy the product. I forgot to mention the last 20% or so portion of this manual from page 267 to page like 320, 318 is the manual for the sprite editor, which I didn't have a chance to cover in this book, but it is nice to have a section that covers specifically the sprite editor, and I'll have to dive into that at another time. But I just wanted to point it out that it is a thing. Anyway, that's my video for Vision Basic. I think it's a terrific program, and it's amazing that one person developed this from the ground up by himself, and highly recommended. Thanks for watching.